All right, so guys, really quick, let's just freaking rock and roll. Jerry's tagging the crap out of people. I love that. I'm going to be looking a little bit over here because my comments are over here. I've got some stuff going on the screen. Just so everybody knows, just to start off here, I am currently in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sean, where are you at, bro?
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne, Australia. Dude, is Ramiz on still?
I am.
Oh, there he is. I couldn't see it. Where are you at, bro? Tell everyone where you're at.
I'm from Scarsdale, New York. So
Okay, he's in New York.
yeah.
Love it. And his name, by the way, I just said it wrong again. It's Ramez, not Ramiz, just so everybody knows, because that's what I've been calling him for the last 20 minutes. So, guys, we're trying out some new stuff today. We're trying the hotel Wi-Fi. I thought it'd be cool to dress like Jesus today, so that's what I came with. And then we got these two fine strapling young men here. Before we get going, I want to say this, and the reason why I've got Sean on is what we're going to do as we're growing, as our this group is growing, as Flat Fee Mastery is growing. I am trying to make sure that I can get to everything and that we're giving attention to the right things and that I have good people in place to help me. So the reason I brought Sean on is Sean is going to start spearheading the interviews with that sweet accent. And I'm sure like you would probably steal my wife from me if you had that, if she heard you. So I think people are really going to enjoy it. But no, so Sean's going to be coming on. And by the way, guys, anybody that I like bring on, put on, let on, and ask to help me, my requirements are they have to be slinging deals themselves. Number one, if you're getting interviewed on here, it's because you've gotten a deal. So Ramez wouldn't be on here if he didn't have at least one deal. He's got more than one deal. Sean definitely wouldn't be doing interviews if he didn't have multiple deals. Sean, he won't talk about it, but I'll flex for him. He just had his first 10K month, and was that in March, or what was the time frame on that?
That was, it was on the 29th or 30th of March, so 2 days before the end. Yeah,
amazing. And what was your biggest month up to last month?
2K.
Yeah. So in 1 month you jumped up.
February was 2K, January was 1K, and then March was 10K.
Damn.
Wow.
Impressive. Yeah. So the reason I'm saying that, because we're interviewing Ramez here today, but the reason I want to say that is because anybody that I have come on, as I said already, I'm going to make sure that not only have they had success, but they continue to have success. Right. And so it's going to force them to have success, because we've all been in part of these groups, and I'm not going to like drop names or whatever, but we've been in these groups where the people at the top, or the people that are the support, they don't do shit. They don't even sell. They don't even have their own business. They don't do anything. So I want to make sure that this is different, that everyone you're hearing from has been vetted by me and is doing well. So anyway, Sean, that's a compliment to you that you're even on, and you're crushing it, dude. And he doesn't flex near enough. I'm like, Sean, you got to tell people.
Hey, I put it in the group. I made a massive post.
No, that's not enough. You need to flex more than that. I'm just messing with you, man. So, all right, guys, this is going to be a really cool interview today, case study. We have Ramez. What's interesting about this, and we're going to get into his deal and everything. And Sean, as you see fit, chime in and cut me off, because as you know, I like to talk. But a couple things. Number one is Ramez is 18 years old. Okay. And so, as I've always said, time and time again, I'll continue to say, everybody that watches these case studies, everybody that's in this group, everybody has their yeah, but, right? Sure, yeah, it works for Nick, but he's not in Australia, right? And then Sean comes along and it's like, yeah, Sean's in Australia, but he's not 18, right? And so today, anyone that thinks, oh, I'm too young, people aren't going to take me seriously, blah, 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 fill in the blank. I have bad news for you. We're going to squash the dog shit out of that objection, because Ramez has proved that it doesn't matter what your age is, you can go and ink some big boy deals. Okay. So that's part of what I want to talk about today. And then the other thing, we'll get into that, but so let's start with that. Ramez, talk about what it's like talking to business owners, calling business owners, prospecting, closing grown adults as an 18-year-old kid. I look back at when I was 18, dude, I would have had a tough time going and doing like a hotel reservation by myself. And I'm not making that up. It would have been uncomfortable for me. So how do you deal with that as an 18-year-old kid, like very young, and you're calling grown ass adults and asking them for your credit card, their credit card? Like, what's that like?
Honestly, like before I joined FFM, it was not easy. I hated that feeling when I get on the phone and I begin telling them, hey, I got jobs, I got leads. It was so bad. But eventually, once like I joined FFM, I got to know the process and all of that. It got to the point where like my age does not matter that much. It's about the value you provide. If you got jobs, if you know how to follow the script you give, you'll just like get to them. It does not matter what age you are, as long as you can do what they need, you're fine. So
yeah. One of the things that's interesting is like, I know we all have these things in our head. Like one of the things, and I was talking to Sean last night about this with you when we were Zooming last night, is I used to think that when you called a client, right? I used to think there's a certain period of time that you had to be in touch with the client before they would buy, right? And that was how you got their trust. Like, well, you got to call them, and it's got to be at least a week, right? And I think like Eugene Song, I know he used to do like these 2-week trials. I think he had a similar thought. But guys, it's not about how much time lapses. It's about the value you provide. It's not about the fact that I'm 31 or Ramez is 18, or how old are you, Sean?
25.
Or that Sean's 25. It's not about that, right? It's about the value that you provide. And if you provide the value, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that's what's so cool about the process. Like all those objections that might matter under normal circumstances, when you're providing the leads up front and you're saying, hey, try this lead, test it out, see what you think. They get sold on the lead, and you're just the messenger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, dude, hats off to you. What was it like? Well, okay, let me ask you this. When did you join your first program?
September 30th of 2021. So about 6 months ago.
Okay. So you joined 6 months ago, and for the first 5 months, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, did you get any deals at all? SEO,
None.
website builds, not a thing.
Nothing. None.
You didn't make a single dollar.
Nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, then that's the question everyone's gonna wonder is like, how do you go from 5 months of eating shit and then all of a sudden in 4 weeks or whatever? I mean, how do you do that? What was the main thing? Was it a mindset shift? Was it something you were doing different? What was the thing that changed?
I feel like what changed it is a process, a process that has been tested many times and it's been successful. When I was in that group, they give you a lot of methods to make money, but you just gotta follow any of them. But when it comes to the FFM, it's in a way like when I got on the phone with you, like I knew the method of putting up a one pager and then putting up a one pager and getting leads, and then you get like a business owner and you rent it out. I was asking you like, what did you do? And you said you've been a scientist in the lab, like you've studied that process, each step. So that's the thing, I think a process, that has been studied and been tested many times. So that's what changed a lot of the things, and yeah, that's about it, kind of a process.
Was it the fact that, of the actual process itself, or just in your head knowing that, hey, this process works because I've seen it work for so many different people? Which one of those was it?
Kind of both, like when you see a lot of people are making a lot of deals through it. So like, I know it will work out. Like there is not any missing steps. There is not any missing like anything, and in the meantime, it works, so both kind of. So yeah, I did believe it as like a lot of case studies, but in the meantime, it did work. It makes sense.
What was your but When you were watching these case studies, you were seeing the success from me, from other students. What was the thing that you were like, yeah, but I'm different because of this?
A few things. I would say my age was a bit of it. It was, another thing is like English is not my favorite language. That's one thing. Um, but I don't know. That's about it. Like I always knew like if I keep at it, I will get a deal. If I keep doing the process, if I stay consistent with it, if I keep doing and showing up, I will get a deal. So even though I had some excuses, but I kept showing up,
Yeah.
like I couldn't stop. So yeah.
Where tell everyone where you're actually like, what is your first language?
Arabic.
Damn, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Come out with the powerhouse right there. Jeez. Dude, that's a heavy language.
Yeah.
So you know what's funny is like I feel like at this point we have probably 25% of the people, not 20, maybe not that many, but like a good chunk of the people that we've done case studies with that are in a similar situation, that like English is not their first language.
Yeah.
Nope. Like we have a bunch. And so anyone out there that like is joining this, whether you're in the US or outside the US, and you're like, well, if I call people in the and by the way, were your deals in the US?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's calling people in the US, speaking English, not even his first language. So yeah, dude, I love it, man. So even though you had those two objections, those two doubts, Sean, what was your yeah, but?
I think it's yeah, but I'm not good at sales. And it was like I always put myself in this position of like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna get good at sales, but I just need to do 1,000 cold calls or something like that. And it was like, oh, it was a volume thing, and it was like, oh, because I haven't done 1,000 sales calls, I'm not like seasoned, I guess that might be yeah. So it was always just, oh, because I'm not there yet, I can't. It's going to be a lot harder for me to get a deal versus someone that's already experienced in sales. Yeah.
So I remember we did your interview. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Sean's interview, it was awesome. By the way, he is the only person I've ever made do a live role play on the spot. Not sure if we're going to get to that today. So Ramez is over there crossing his fingers, hoping that we don't, but we'll see how I'm feeling. I'm drinking this Monster, feeling pretty good right now. We might be rolling here in just a second. Ramez, what was your thoughts on that? Because if memory serves me correct, you don't have a sales background either, or am I mistaken?
I don't.
You don't. Okay.
No.
So, dude, I mean, like, think about it, right?
I don't have anything, dude. I'm 18. Like, I don't have any experience in anything. Like, I just know like a bit of SEO, but
Dude, like I'm looking at this, I'm like 18 years old, like you could use that excuse. English isn't your first language, you could use that excuse. You're like no sales experience, you could use that. Like, dude, hell yeah, bro. Nice work. So let's talk a little bit about your deals, dude. So
also one thing I was using as a bot, yeah. I was not too confident of my SEO skills. Like I was like, what if I get a client and I don't get leads, That was like one of the main things. Like, what if I have them on and they pay me and then I don't do what I promised, But like then when I was watching you said like you don't know a lot of SEO, like it's about the sales, like, and you just like put up the ad and it will get leads. Like it's not I was like complicating that thing in my mind. So yeah.
You're not the only one. We just did an interview. If you guys haven't seen the one with Julia was the same thing. I think I even titled hers. It was like, it said something to the effect of like making offers when you don't know everything, right? I think a lot of people, they get in and I think some guys, they're like, it's that. They're like, well, I don't know the SEO. I hope I can deliver, right? That's some. But you know what I think more it's what it really is people are using that as an excuse to not do the hard thing.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're like, well, since I don't know if I can produce, then I can tell myself that. And then I don't have to actually do sales because that's going to be uncomfortable and I might fail, blah, 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 blah. And so they don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Is sales as scary for both of you guys? Is it as scary as you guys thought? Because if we rewind 6 weeks ago, guys, think about this. 6 weeks ago from right now, roughly, both of you guys were kind of like in that same position of like never had any sales experience, knowing you needed to do it, but it like kind of scared the hell out of you a little bit. Is it as bad as you thought?
No, it was not.
I
No,
think it was the scary thing was like the not knowing what to do, because
exactly.
like
Yeah.
once I figured out how to do the, like I actually love the close now. I mean, it's not, yeah, I don't even really feel nervous for it. And I think it's mainly because it's like, I know what I'm gonna say. Like I'm not just going in there and just trying to figure it out as I talk to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, that's the biggest difference.
When you have a process, it changes everything, right? Like when you know exactly, when you have a cold calling script that you know actually works because it's been proven, dude, the confidence level, you're like, oh, I know this works, right? So now I just have to talk to enough people. When,
Yeah.
I mean, it just changed everything, right? You get on the closing call, you have the script and you know, okay, it's not going to be perfect, but I know I got to do this, and I got to circle back around and do these steps at the end. It just gives you confidence. It's the same reason why having a process from A to Z gives you confidence to set ridiculous goals, right? Like I'm sure a year ago, if you said, hey, Sean, you're going to do 10K in a month, you would have laughed. I mean, I know you, cause you're a little bit crazy. You probably would have believed it. But your girlfriend would have been like, Sean, you're crazy. Is she right there?
Not wrong. Nah, she's not here. She's not here.
Okay. She would have enjoyed that. You go ahead and share that.
She's gonna see the recording. Let me tag her now. Let me.
Yeah. She'll no, but you know what I mean? And so I think more than anything is having that process. And guys, if you come up with a process that works better than this, tell me about it. Like I'm of the nature, if you can find something better than this, let's go. I'll endorse it. I'll use it. But and a lot of people, I like to remind people, I didn't create this process like, oh, I'm gonna start a group and do this program. I came up with this process because I was in a shitty situation, $60,000 in debt, wanting to do the things you guys wanted to do. As you guys heard yesterday, I wanted to go on trips. I wanted to not like worry about all these stupid little bills. And so I was just trying to scrape my way out of the dog shit. Right. And then I realized, oh, I'm onto something. So it is, dude, having a process. Oh man, it gives you confidence more than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah. One thing about sales, like, when you say sales, I was watching Burhan's live, the interview a few months ago.
Who's
It's like
Burhan?
one of
Who's Burhan? Oh, that guy. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
it's like, I think it's one of the best interviews because he said like a lot of good things. And one thing he says, it's like a lot of it is in the setup, if you do the process setup, if you do the setup correct, the sales, like the phone sale, like it's so easy, like really easy. But like if you do the setup correctly, so yeah, that's one thing about the process you have.
100%. Do you agree with that, Sean? All my closes, guys, I'll brag about this till the day is long. And I told my wife, she asked me yesterday, like, you don't ask somebody like me about my numbers because I'll tell you and I'll keep telling you. She's like, hey, I was on a call. She's like, did you get it? And I'm like, why are you asking stupid questions? Like, the answer to that. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're so cocky. I'm like, yeah, but I'm right. And she's like, just curious. What is your close percentage? I'm like, are you really asking me right now? You're letting me talk about myself. And I was like, no shit. I have not. And I'm telling everyone right now I'm probably said it 6 times. I'll say it another 6 times before the end of April. I haven't lost a deal in 2022. You want me to repeat that again? I have not lost a deal in 2022. Okay. And if I don't lose one soon, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit my head through the door. I'm on one right now. Okay. I'm on one. So, but what's been interesting is like my closes are not hard. They are not freaking hard. I guarantee, because I record everything. I guarantee if you watched all my recordings, you'd be like, yeah, no wonder you're closing these deals, Nick. These are like the biggest laydowns ever. Like, you handpick these people off the street that just want to give you money. And the reason why is just what Ramez said. He said, it's in the setup, right? It's in the setup. And so we talk about that in the program. It's like, okay, we know what objections are coming. So let's overcome them before they even come up. And I use this all the time. Like, I don't know if my dad was unique, but if I got a dent in my car, got a ticket, did something stupid, if I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I just got a ticket, it was so much better than if he found out behind my back. He would get so pissed. Like, why didn't you tell me? And it was way worse. And it's the same thing. Guys, bring it up first and it's not a big deal, right? So why I always tell you, when you're closing a deal, set expectations. Hey, Mr. Business Owner, the leads are going to be a little slow in the winter. Have you heard of Christmas? Yeah. Now he's not going to call you. But if you wait until he calls and then you start explaining it, he's going to go, oh yeah, sure. Blah, 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 blah. Set the expectations, bring it up first. So the close is in the freaking setup. Great point.
Yep.
Cool. Anything you want to add to that, Sean? If not, no big deal. I just didn't want to move on without you.
Yeah, I guess for me, it was like the whole setting up expectations is you're scared to say it because you're like, oh, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want them to be thinking that the calls are going to go down, but it's actually the opposite. It's like the earlier you admit it, the less, yeah, basically what you're saying. But I definitely think that's something that it kind of makes you look a lot more authentic as well. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to give you like more and more leads every single month and it's always going to be, you're going to get millions of dollars or whatever. It's like, okay, this is exactly what it is. But at the end of the day, we still done the calculations and you're still going to make X amount of dollars. So there's no problem.
It creates trust, right? It's like that couple on social media and it's like, this is just the best husband and he is such a good person and blah, 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 blah. And it's all like they have the best marriage ever. And then secretly they're like getting divorced, right? Yeah, and so, but then like the ones that come out and they're like, yo, it's not perfect. I'm a dick. She's a bitch sometimes, but we love each other. We're working it out. It's real. And so they can trust you. It's the same thing. But the problem is we get scared, like you're saying, to lose the deal. We're so scared of losing the deal that we don't dare say stuff, right? We don't dare say, just so you know, it's going to be a little slow in the winter because, oh my gosh, what if they cancel? Or what if they decide not to do it? Who cares? Who cares, right? We're trying to get clients that want to stay with us 10 years. I don't want someone that's going to be with me 3 months, period. And I always say this at the end of the call, if they're like, I'm like, bro, if you're still on the fence after seeing all the testimonials I've shown you, after getting the free leads, after whatever, closing the deal, if they close the deal, and you're still a maybe, I'm going to tell you the answer is it's not a good fit. Let me go work with another company because I'm not going to sell you next month and the next month and the next month. You're either in or out. Are you in or out? Right. And I don't care if they walk, let them walk. I'll go get somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. Some of you guys, some of the people watching this, they're like, they think they got game with the other gender. And it's like, okay, if you really do use that same game on these business owners, right? Like no fear of loss. Come on.
It's all the same.
Man, that video, I watched it like many times. I wrote what you said exactly to the point. I like memorized the shit out of that thing.
I love it. You know what's funny too is, I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there. I know you could take a joke, but like, is that the reason why we're like, cause right, we got on the phone and he's dabbing his lip and I'm like, bro, you just macking right before this and somebody bit your lip. Are you using my strategies to pull game, dude? Admit it.
Who knows?
Okay.
Man, that's another course in itself.
That's another course right there, baby. That's another course. I love it. So, here's the funny thing is like, I did want to talk about that, but the main thing I wanted to discuss here is getting your first deal is the game. Okay. Getting your very first deal is the game. We have so many people I can think of. Okay. I'm going to go through them. Kareem. Okay. We did an interview with him. I think it was on New Year's Eve. He was in another program for 3 years. He got like a $400 deal one time. Nothing. He gets his first deal in 28 days in with my program. And then in 2 weeks gets his second deal. Interesting. Abe Skolnick, shout out to Abe. He's in Israel. Abe, he's like 18 months in another program. Nothing. 30 days gets a deal. Guess when he gets his next one? 7 days later. Sean gets, whatever. He does 1K in January, 2K in February, gets his first flat fee deal. How many weeks? Was it like 6 days into getting into flat fee?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 days.
And then all of a sudden you do 10K in a month, right? Ramez, it was 5 months, nothing, not even a logo. You didn't make $1. Hell, you like nothing. And then you get a deal. And then am I incorrect? Or did you get your second deal the day after you got your first deal?
Yeah, the day after. But that guy, I don't know if I'll keep him, but yeah, the day after.
Yeah, no. And you were telling me that because that guy was like kind of wishy-washy, but
Yeah.
point is though, what I'm saying is like, you would have never gotten a second deal that quick. Like you just wouldn't have believed in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
no.
saying?
Yeah.
It's interesting. And so for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, 10K so far away and 15K and 20K so far away, you know what is far away is, well, it's not even far away, but the only thing you need to do is go get your first deal. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. Is it like a mental block that gets lifted, or like what do you think it was that allowed you, Ramez? And again, I don't know what's going to go on with that guy, but you still closed him and got some
Yeah.
money. What was it? Were you like, oh shit, I have permission now. I did it once. I could do it again. Like, what was it that you felt gave you the confidence to do 2 deals in 2 days? And it took you 5 months to get your first one.
I feel like, again, it goes back to the process, you know. But in the meantime, like when I got my first deal, that one, when I got it, I was like, after the call, I was like shocked, you know, shit, like I got my deal, like my first one, I got paid. And I was like, okay, like I used to see other people do it. And yeah, it's a proven process, but can I do it? Like, can I do it based on my case? So when I got it, like, oh shit, like, yeah, I can do it. So I cannot keep like making any excuses now. Like, yeah, I just gotta keep repeating the process and just keep at it, you know?
Yep.
So,
I
yeah.
totally agree with that. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's similar deal. It's just like it's the whole belief thing. Just knowing that it's possible. And because I think prior to that, it was like I was able to do the commission stuff. Even then I wasn't even that good at it. So I would only had like 3 commission deals, but it was like, okay, now I actually know how to do this. And yeah, just seeing it end to end, you always have doubts until it happens to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I noticed the same thing. And I've said this before when I knocked doors, like on Monday morning, guys, I would do everything I could to tee up a juicy deal or any kind of a deal for Monday morning. Cause I knew if I got a deal Monday morning, even if it was a crappy deal, I would then get my second deal easy and my third deal. And if you get a deal early in the day, you always get your second, third, fourth deals. And if you get deals early in the week, you always have big weeks. Okay. So one of the things I've started doing, I started scheduling my sales calls first thing in the morning because I'm fresh, but also because then it gives me like this confidence. I've made money. So I like to schedule my calls. Dude, I scheduled one at like 4 a.m. a couple weeks ago because I was going out of town and I'm like, I got to get that wind under my belt. And so that's just a little hack. If you guys want to have huge days, huge weeks, schedule a sales call Monday morning. First thing, 7 a.m., 6 a.m. your time. You'll get prepared. You'll get to bed early. You'll get that deal and it will lead to another deal. It'll lead to another deal and another deal and another deal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what do you think were the roadblocks, Ramez, that were holding you back from, I know the process, but like, what else do you think was holding you back from getting the first deal? Like, cause it's not like you just didn't get a flat fee deal. You didn't get any deal, right? What was holding you back for 5 months from getting any deal?
I don't know. I think again, I think like, you know, I think it's like a step-by-step process, you know, like in the group that I am in, other than the FFM, like they tell you a lot of ways to get money, but they don't go deep. They do not tell you what to say. They do not tell you how to how to overcome any objections. They do not tell you like step by step, you know. But when it comes like to you, like you kind of like, you know how a mentor is, like he tells you how to go through each step. That's what changed a lot of the game. You know, that's what most of us need, like a step by step process. Like you're not leaving anything out of it, you know. So yeah,
So that was a big step for you. It's just
that was like one of the things. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I want to, Sean, you brought up a point, right? Because we jumped on, just so everybody knows, we jumped on for about 5 minutes right before, and Sean brought something up, and he's like, I think we should talk about this because you did have struggles. Like, it's not like he just he just walked into his first deal. So like, Sean, why don't you ask him and Ramez, why don't you talk about that?
So for a bit of context, I remember I got my first deal like at early February, and then me and Ramez were in like the same team thing. And I remember like he messaged me, I think, and that was the first time we ever talked. He's like, "Oh, you got a deal in FFM or whatever it was," and then yeah, we jumped on a call, and it was like we were in that similar boat. We were both super excited. We both knew that this is like something really big, but it was like we both kind of just started, right? And then so because of that, me and Ramez have been, you know, going back and forth, just talking about our deals and talking shit about business owners and that. And yeah, like I think something that really impressed me about you is like you went through a lot of adversity, and like a lot of the times you would be like, oh, this guy just like he's on the hook, and then it didn't work out, and you're like, oh, it's all good, I'm gonna go to the next one. It was never like, you never had this feeling of like, oh, like it's not working for me, and like you never kind of had that negative attitude. And I think that's what really kind of is going to make you do so much better, because you're just like, you're not thinking about the outcome, you're just thinking about, oh, am I following the process, right? So
Yeah, I honestly, like, I get a lot of negative attitude. Like, if you know me, I complain a lot when I lose something, when I do something bad. If something bad happens, I complain a lot. But one thing about me is I complain, but then I say, oh well, how can I do something about it? How can I prevent it from happening again, you know? In many things, you know, whether it was Google Ads, whether the business owner taking position of authority in the call, like, yeah, I get mad, I complain, like, why the fuck did it happen? But again, how can I improve, you know? Who should I ask now to improve it so it does not happen again? And you keep improving and you'll get to the deal.
yeah.
So yeah.
Do you want to talk about your first one? Your
I was just
first
gonna say that.
almost deal. I feel like that's basically a deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a concrete guy, and he was not like, he was a guy by himself. He was on Angie's list, but he's not fully established. Like, he's not a big company. And I hit him up, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to get jobs. I did the fullbacks. I did all of that." I thought he's a good fit, but then when we got on the Zoom call, you know, I got to the end. I was like, "Hey, can I get like?" I went through all of it, and then I was like, "Can I get your credit card?" Like, you know how you say in like Amex or Visa or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "1 sec, I'll go get it." He went up, like he got his debit card. He sat and he was like about to give it to me, and he said, "But hold up," and he did not like like the quality of the leads I've sent. He did not like it. He did not like any of them, because like he did not close any of them, even though like we say one way to overcome objections is like, if he does not close any of them, we tell him, you don't have to have a high closing rate, you'll still make a lot of money. If they cannot close any of the jobs, and if I sent like 7 leads, if they cannot close any of them, he's a bad fit. Like, you've got to know that. And that was one thing about him. You know, I sent a lot of leads, even though some of the leads were not like the best leads, but he did not close any of them, so he did not like it. So it was not like an objection, it was a complaint. Like, he was complaining, like, I don't like the quality, and I couldn't overcome that thing. I couldn't. I was like, okay, I'll send you a few more leads. I did, but it did not work out. But the one after it, he did. So yeah, the deal, like the guy
So
after
then what?
him,
He just hung up and he's like, I'm actually not gonna do it.
he was like, I'm not gonna pay you. Like, the quality of the leads were not that good, you know.
So
But
the
again,
guy walks over and he's like, just kidding.
yeah, like, you know, like he was about to get it, like he was about to sell, and he was like, but hold up.
Dude, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah,
So,
like, yeah.
so I want to put a plug in for Linda Green real quick, because for anyone that this happens. So as you guys know, part of the setup, you send the leads, right? And you know, because you're following up, you're talking if they're closing leads, if they're bidding the jobs, because I don't send number 2 until number 1's getting taken care of or scheduled, and on, right? So I have a pretty good idea before I jump on the call. Okay, he's gone to all 7 leads, he's closed a couple, whatever, right? So Linda actually was, to her credit, she took the concept behind the setup, which is overcome the objections before, and she's like, I keep running into this objection of people that don't close leads. They're like complaining about the quality. And so what she started saying is she'd jump on and she'd cut them off and say, hey, look, I know, we sent you 5 leads or whatever. And it sounds like, you haven't gotten any of them closed yet, which is totally normal. I mean, some of these don't close immediately. Plus it's a numbers game. That little statement right there, what are they going to say back to that now? Because that is the truth. And this is what I usually say to people is I'll say that now. I love that line. And then I'll say, let me ask you this, Ramez, if I had sent you 3 leads and you had closed all 3, would you have assumed that you would be closing 100% of those? Every lead I send you, would you think you're going to close every one of them?
No.
Of course not, right? So judging this off of 7 leads or 3 leads is very short-sighted, right? Because, and I'll say, I've had other business owners like Tom that I was showing you earlier that closed the 41. Again, I'm selling through the neighbors, right? One of my steps. Just like Tom, the first 10 we sent him, he closed 0, but the next 10 he closed 7, which actually ended up being close to a 40% close rate. So it's a numbers game. Anyway, not a big deal. I just wanted to point that out. You say something like that, what are they going to say to that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
They can't. Yeah.
So shout out to Linda. That was her idea. So any of these objections, you just rinse and repeat, right? If you keep getting the same shit, just keep doing it, right? Hey, just bring it up first, have something to overcome it with, and go from there. Make sense? I have a question real quick for both of you guys. I'm going to start with Sean. Sean, before doing the flat fee mastery process that we talk, I mean, guys, and the process, we talk about it 100% in depth, step by step in there, but it's not like there's like 7 extra steps that we're like hiding from everybody. Okay. You guys know the general process. What were you trying when you were just getting like 1,000 or 2,000 a month? Like what were some of the sales or the prospecting strategies that you tried?
Yeah.
Please tell me, because I know a lot of people in here are like, oh my gosh, I've tried every single thing. I'm curious what you have tried.
So the starting was, and this was like the best one. This is kind of why I was like, oh yeah, it's possible for me when I first started in the other group. It was like, you just have to pretend like you need help. And then it's just like, hey, can you help me out? I've got this lead, whatever. And then like in my head, I was like, that sounds like it works, but I don't know, like every time I said it, it was like the vibe was kind of like, oh, okay, so you don't like, is this a free, I'm going to help you out and it's free, right? Like they don't even think about money, or they don't even ask like, what do you want out of it? Because I'm like, oh, can you help me out? And then obviously every time it came to actually asking for money, then it got a bit awkward. And then even before joining this group, I did have like a strategy that started working, and it kind of aligned with, like subconsciously aligned with what your script was, which was saying like asking about whether they're free, whether what they do, and then whether they have availability, because obviously that availability thing is really big. You don't want to pitch to someone that's booked out till May or end of the year. So that kind of helped me, and just being more authentic, I think. But it still didn't give me the results, because I think once I started giving them the free leads, that was the issue, where it's like I didn't know when to stop. I thought I had to get them to close a deal, and then obviously it's like if they can't close a deal, then it looks weird, and I don't know how to ask for money. So all these things, I just didn't have a process, and I didn't know. That's why, like, I had a lot of people on trial before joining, and then when I actually joined FFM, I was like, okay, this guy's at this stage of the process, this guy's at this stage, this guy's at this stage. So I just got to move them to the next stage. And then I was able to actually just get deals, like without even having to call new owners. Is just like something you already have, your existing trial people.
Love it. So you just tried a bunch of different scripts when you called, right? Like, because you were just calling cold and doing these different kind of like approaches. Was there any other like things that you were doing? Like, I mean, posting on Facebook, going in Facebook messaging, wrapping your car with a sticker, like any of that, like weird stuff that you are doing?
I tried like Facebook messaging and texting. I was like, oh yeah, I made this like subconscious, like, oh yeah, it's easier because I can talk to more business owners, but like they don't even reply. So it didn't really do anything.
And the truth is you were just trying to avoid doing the hard thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
It's so funny. Like, the one thing that gets you success is the thing that we buy all this programs and do all this stuff. It's like, we'll send 10 messages, takes 10 times longer to avoid a phone call. Pick up the phone. Right. Save your time. What about you, Ramez? What are some of the strategies that you tried that obviously didn't work because you didn't have a deal before?
I did cold calling a bit. I did not do it for too long, but I did it. It was bad. I did
I love the
it,
honest. It was bad.
yeah, yeah. I did like sending screencasts to just random businesses. Like it takes a lot of time, a lot of work to do each screencast, and you gotta do a lot of them. I did like maybe 20, which is not a lot, honestly, and none of them did work out. But the thing is, like no one advised me. Like I was just sending them to people on Facebook, you know. But like you've got to realize people on Facebook are not paying for SEO. They are not paying for ads. Most of them are not. So why would you talk to those, you know? So you've got to know how to build a prospecting list. So that's one thing. Like I got to know it from Flat Fee Mastery, and I did like I don't know if you know it. Like, do you know like you make the local news website and you do interviews?
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did that,
The
and
review website strategy.
yeah, and it was not it again. I did not succeed at it. I did not like it. I was doing it before joining the Flat Fee Mastery. I thought that would be like the way to go about it. I did like maybe 10 to 15 interviews. None of them were even close to like even making a pitch, you know? Like
Yeah.
they did not qualify. Again, like you've got to know how to build a prospecting list. You've got to do the due diligence on them. That's one thing. And like no one taught me, no one told me, hey, like you gotta talk to people who would like to get the service you have. So that's like you've got to know your audience, you know, you've got to know them. It's not just anyone. And yeah, like I tried like a few, I did like cold texting on Facebook and Craigslist and website audits, same thing as screencast. None of them worked out. None.
I think the point
So
is with all the things you guys are sharing, and guys, I've wrapped my car. I bought a smart car. It looks like a toy. I bought that, wrapped it, spent about $7,000 on that. I did Facebook posts. I tried all these referral strategies. I did the review site stuff as well. I tried strategic business meetings with companies that had similar clients. I did the texting. I did the Facebook messaging. I tried smart searches on Facebook. People look, I mean, dude, I did everything, right?
yeah.
And the only thing that got me to 7 figures was picking up the damn phone, calling the people who are already interested in this service because they were paying for something else, giving them free leads, and you guys know the rest of the process. That is the only thing that I found that has worked. And so I think all those strategies, they can work, but like, if you look at all of them are rooted in being like taking a backdoor approach. And it's like, okay, I want to do a review. Oh, we should talk. And I did that. I actually got a couple of little rinky dink like website builds, but it wasn't worth the squeeze. Like it just wasn't worth the squeeze in my opinion. And so I like what Sean said. He's like, it's so much more refreshing to a business owner when people just call, when you just call and you're like, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm not trying, like, the same thing happened on the doors. There would be, when I would sell door to door, there was people that always tried to be so freaking crafty. They're like, hey, nice. You know, like, have you guys seen the Family Guy clip where he's like, hey, I see you bought all the handsome cream, like all that shit. Like, it doesn't work. Just be direct. Hey, do you guys cover, you know, this zip code? Cool. Okay. No, what are you talking about? Oh, by the way, my name is Ramez. This is what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. I know you're paying for ads. I'll send you a couple leads. Let's talk in a few days. How does that sound? Cool.
Yeah.
Are you dicking with me? Or are you really going to show up on Wednesday? Cool. Okay. I'm going to be like, just be direct.
Yeah. You know, one thing I want to say, like each one of those methods to make money, each one of these strategies to make money, like a lot of people had success in each one of them. Like each one of them, some people did have success. So if you want to do them and you keep at it, like you say, doing it, a lot of momentum and doing it like a lot of consistency, you will get a deal. You will make money out of them. I know that. But one thing is, like you've got to know most of these strategies will get you SEO clients or maybe website builds. It's not the same as lead gen. Like you do not have control. SEO, I think of it as a job, you know? It's not like maybe I would take SEO clients, but if it was a high paying one, like not a low paying one, you know? So it's not the same. when it comes to that.
That's a really good point. You guys know, if you guys were on the call yesterday, we talked about I talked about the one thing that changed everything for me to get to 7 figures. It was taking all of these micro businesses, right? The SEO clients, the Facebook ads, the this, that, and picking flat fee lead gen. And I think that you made a great point. It's like all of these strategies will work. If you do the interview thing and the review thing, it will work if you do it enough times. If you do the Facebook message, it will work, right? But there are things that work better than others. And at the end of the day, the problem is you're doing all of them. You need to just pick one, right? And do that one. Pick it and get great at it. And I'm telling you, because all of us have tried all these other things. If you're looking for flat fee deals, this happens to be the best process and the best strategy right now. Now, I'm not saying maybe Sean comes up with some freaking ninja trick from the land down under and he's like, yo, this is way better than your process. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, Sean, let's talk, dude. Let's talk. Okay. But until that time, this thing is freaking printing money. And we are minting millionaires. We're going to have I know this sounds like a bold claim, but I can't wait until the end of this calendar year to just have because right now the data is so new, right? Like we have tons of people with deals. I can't wait for a year in to be like, hey, here's the numbers. People, within a year, this is what people are doing. Within 6 months, within this, like I'm excited to see where you two are at with your businesses. So what is your goal, Ramez, for 2022? What do you want to be at per month?
Well, I know by the end of June, that's when I become 19. I want to be at 16K a month. I want to do that. And by the end of the year, I want to be like at least 30K. 16K is a number that means a lot to me, I think. I don't know, because like I have a paper in my like you see it, a paper in my phone. When I was 17, on my 18th birthday, I wrote on a paper. I did not know anything about lead gen, SEO, none of that. But I wrote, I want to make 4K when I become 19, and I want to make 16K when I'm old. But right now, through this process, I know I can do it a lot sooner than I felt like maybe when I become maybe 25, 27, I'll be making 16K. But now I want to make it by 19, So yeah.
Is there any significance to 16, or is it just
No.
that you randomly, it was an arbitrary
It
number?
It was random, honestly. All of it is made up, kind of.
That's cool. You know what? $1 million a month means nothing, but it means everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. And some of you guys, there's some people here, they're like, oh, dude, he's gotten like 2 deals and he's saying he's going to be at 16. Guys, you don't understand how these deals stack. Once you unlock the process, once you get your first deal, they start to stack, and going from 0 to 5,000 is way harder than going from 5,000 to 20,000.
That's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, once you get to like that 25, 30 range, jumping up to like 60, that's another jump because you got to start having help and all this different things. But to get to like the 20K mark, it's way harder to get to that first 5 of flat fee lead gen than it is to get to 20, because those are the very first deals. You make the mistakes, you lose the deal at the credit card stage and all these different things, right?
Yeah.
Sean, I know we've talked about it, but remind us so that we can harass you. What's your end goal by 2022?
50K. Yeah. Well, main goal is 20K, because that's the whole girlfriend laughed at me. So I might even bring her on for an interview if
once you hit 20K, we are interviewing you, and is it Hannah?
And my girlfriend, yeah.
Oh, we're doing an interview with you too. Tell everyone that story really quick, or I'll summarize it, or you tell them really quick.
Yeah. So just for context, like when I first started this group, well, for further context, when I first started the other group, right, I was like saying how excited I was, and I was like, look, I'm gonna be rich. Like I can guarantee, like I know I'm gonna be rich already. And because I was just like, I could just see everything kind of play out, right? And then obviously that didn't happen. And then a year passed by, and then this is the second time I've said it. So I found this group. My friend told me, is like, this changed the way I looked at sales and all that. I looked at the group and I joined the free one. I was like going through all the videos. And I said it again. I was like, it was like 2 a.m. And I was like, I think I'm gonna be rich. Like, I reckon I can get 20K by the end of this year. And then yeah, she just starts laughing. Like, here we go. Like him trying to. I used to do some really weird things. Like when I used to run it in the morning at 5 a.m. And I would like go into the middle of the oval and I'd be like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like I would shout that, like just really weird stuff, just trying to like psych myself
Manifest
into
it.
it. So she's just like, oh, this is one of your crazy weird things about you. And then yeah, so it's like I kind of like, it's like funny, but we're always trying to like prove each other wrong. So like I wrote in the group, I was like, PS, my girlfriend told me, like I told her that I'm gonna get 20K and she just started laughing. So I have to do this now. So like every time like I get a deal, everyone's like, what's your girlfriend think?
I love it. And anyone, and I think there was a couple people, they're like, screw your girlfriend. Tell her to piss off. And,
break up with her.
and it's like, my wife does the same thing. She's like, yeah. You're going to do 100K a month, but sure. And I'm like, all right. And so, you know what I like to do? If you have people that are doubting you, I always like to just be like, all right, like when I failed my first business and I got into this again, I was like, I did 10K my second month. I did 3K really quick, like 3 days. And I'm like, I'm going to do 10K. She's like, yeah, sure. Because I hadn't made any money for a year. Right. So I did 10K. And then I said, here's the deal. If I do, my next goal is 25K, right? Keep in mind, 2 months prior, I made $0. So my next goal is 25K in 1 month. And she's like, I'm like, if I do it, I'm buying a BMW. Stupid decision, right? Like I literally just came from broke and I'm like, I'm buying a BMW. She's like, okay, sure. Right. Like, yeah, safe bet. Right. Dude, no kidding. 21 days in, I hit it.
Wow.
I'm like,
what do you mean? Like 21 days later, you hit 25K in a month?
yeah. But the problem was it wasn't flat fee. It was like it was SEO deals and website. Like, you know, you get like a website bill, it's like $5,000. So like, but nonetheless, I told her I didn't set parameters, right? I was still chasing the fast money. So I hit the thing and I'm like, hey, I just hit it. She's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, check it out. Showed her, text the guy. I drove down and picked up a BMW. Had no business driving it. Like I was broke as shit. But
how much is the BMW?
It was like it was only like 50,000. It wasn't like crazy. It wasn't like a 90. It wasn't like a freaking whatever.
Ferrari or whatever. Yeah.
i8 or whatever, but it was X4 or something. But anyway, point being, don't take that stuff, like use it as fuel, but like also you can leverage the shit out of it and get a BMW out of it, you know?
And yeah, I would also say like, don't put it on them and be like, oh, you have this, like, I used to do this thing where I'm like, oh, her mentality is not good enough. Like, it's not this big dreamer mentality. And it's like, dude, like at the end of the day, you used to be like that as well. Like if someone were to tell me like, I'm going to quit my job to make some Bitcoin thing, I'd be like, that's kind of, you know, that's super risky. Right. So at the end of the day, it's like, you can only believe in yourself and like, I don't know. I don't want people to think that they're like, she's bad, or if they have the same issue where it's like, oh, my girlfriend doesn't, you know, support, or my family, whatever. It's not really, I don't think it's personal. At the end of the day, they obviously care about you. So yeah, don't take
this affected me a little bit too, is I was always bummed because I was like, I'm so goal driven, right? Like I want to make all this money and I want to do these things and like all this stuff. And my wife doesn't give two shits. Like she doesn't care, does not care at all. Like she'd be just as happy if I mean, she wouldn't want to live in a box, but like, as long as we had like moderate, like good living, she's just as happy there as a mansion. Like to her, there's no huge, like utility, like it's not a big deal. Right. And so like, I would get upset because I'm like, babe, dude, I did a lot of money today, like 20K, like whatever. And she's like, oh, that's so great. And then she's like playing with the kids. And I'm like, that's it. I'm like, you don't understand, like I almost died. Like I didn't sleep. Like my eyes are like red and that's it. And then I heard Tony Robbins, and he said something that like kind of put me at ease. He's like, he said the same thing. He's like, his wife, he said one time he like closed this crazy big deal. It was like insane. Like it was like a $10 million deal or whatever. Right. And he told his wife about it. He's like, hey babe, you know, this thing, I got this deal or whatever. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. Where are we going for dinner? And he's like, I just accepted the fact that like, it's okay if I'm the one that like is driven by those things and they are not. And so I think some of us think like, oh, if we're not the power couple and our wife doesn't freaking bleed money like us, that it doesn't work out. That's not how all people are driven. If they are, great, you use it. But my wife's not like that at all. So your girlfriend is probably similar. And if anyone else knows that situation,
when I got the 10K, I sent her a screenshot and then she wrote, "Yay, happy for you."
that's it.
That was it. That was it.
And you're expecting like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, you're my hero, like all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
because when I posted in the group, everyone's like, "Let's freaking go." Like, I knew you were gonna make it and all that stuff. And then she's like, "Yeah, happy for you."
I love it. And then Ramez is over there like still dabbing his lip because he's pulling. Just kidding. Okay. So what I want to ask Ramez as we're ending here, and by the way, I just saw Raymond said, "Wow, I'm staying single too." What I want to, if anyone has questions, I'm going to ask one last question to Ramez. And if you have a question, you got about 30 seconds to ask it, because otherwise we're shutting this thing down. But I do want to ask Ramez as we end here, anyone specifically that doesn't have their two things. First of all, to the person that's young. First of all, the person that like is between, I don't know, 16 and 23. Advice, anything that you could share with them.
I would say it's possible, you know, the skills that I have are the same ones each one of us, like the skills that I have are the same as Sean has, as you have, you know, so getting those skills does not take that long. So it's possible, you know, you just got to put in the time and work into it. So yeah.
Okay. And then, and by the way, I said 16 to that age because we actually have a freaking 16-year-old that, and some you and Sean might not even know, we have a 16-year-old in our flat fee master group and she's crushing it. So it doesn't matter what age you are. So now last piece of advice is, and I ask this a lot because a lot of people don't have their first deal, but what do you tell somebody that has been doing this for multiple months? No deal, not a dollar made.
I would say you gotta look at the process you have. You've got to check that first, you know. Is it proven? Is it like, did anyone else have any success through it? And then then you just gotta keep improving keep evaluating the process and adjusting it, and then just moving on. Keep doing it. Evaluate and adjust and just keep doing it. Keep showing up, you know?
Yep. Refine. I love it, man. Okay, we've got a couple questions really quick before we end. So Steven says, I've just joined the group. Are they talking about selling leads or selling a website for a flat fee per month? A little bit of both, but essentially, Steven, we're selling leads, as Jerry just said. You're selling, we own the website in this business. We own the website, we rent it out. We view the website like a single family or multifamily home. We find a tenant, they rent the website and they get the leads, but we own the property. Okay. Yeah. Jerry said selling leads. If you have questions, I'm sure either of these two gentlemen would help you out. Jerry would also answer any questions, I'm sure, as well. And then Raymond says, how do I create a site with backlinks, or where do I go to get them done? This is more of an SEO question. So which one of you guys wants to take that? Just a quick, where do you guys, maybe I'll just say this really quick. What do you guys do for backlinks? This isn't, by the way, this group is about selling deals. And so, if people ask questions like this, I'm happy to answer them. But I will say, the reason that I'm successful is because I'm really good at finding easy deals. And so I don't have to do a lot of SEO. Okay. So if you're somebody that wants to get into the sticks and the crazy SEO stuff, I'm not your guy. But if you want to make money, I'm your guy. Okay. So real quick, I do copycat backlinks if I do them. I don't personally do them, but I pay somebody in the Philippines to do copycat backlinks. What about you guys?
I actually, I just pay someone to do it. There's this website Legit. And I basically pay this guy that I know he's got good quality backlinks. He does these things. Sorry?
Is he legit?
Yeah, the website is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, for real, it's good quality though, right?
Yeah. It's $7 a link or something like that. And I just get 5 links a month. And for me, it was just it works. And so I'm okay, I'll just keep doing it. And that way I don't have to manage anyone. And obviously it's going to cost a little bit more, but for me, like I've had this thing where I'm like, oh, now that I can actually get money, as long as the amount of money that I spend is less than it, like if I don't even have to manage anyone, like it's actually so much easier than to have to be like, oh, have you guys done your work yet? Or have all these expectations. So that's like what I actually want to do in the future, especially once I have a lot more coming in, because that way it's like, it's basically going to cost like nothing. I might not even have to have the deal to rank a site. But yeah, basically, yeah. If you go to legit, if you message me, I can actually post it somewhere. I can try find the guy that I use.
Message
But
Sean, he'll get you an affiliate link and make $4. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
No.
there's not much on $7 a link.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's good. Ramez, what do you do for backlinks?
I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of websites, but if I want to do backlinks, I would do the copycat, but I would begin. One thing that I would focus on when it comes to local, like I've been digging into SEO. When it comes to local, it's about if you do the on page correct and if you know how to do the content, like you can get a lot, ahead, like with people who have backlinks. And if you know how to optimize on page, and sometimes it's about like writing a blog and the website and linking back to your own homepage, that helps a lot. You don't always need a backlink, but when it comes to backlinking, I would do copycat. And I have a website that I know, I forgot, someone told me about it. It's SEO something. You buy like 2 to 3 maybe backlinks of guest, what is it called? Guest posting, I think. Yeah, it's like $90 each. It's like high powered, but you don't buy these at the beginning. Like in the beginning, you just want to go slow on backlink if it's a new domain, you know?
Yeah. And my, again, back to what I was saying is like, if you do a solid due diligence and you don't have that much competition and you do good keyword research and you do good content and you do good on-page SEO and you mix that with time, you're going to rank.
You're good. Yeah.
You're going to rank, right? Like I don't have tons. I have a handful of sites with 0 backlinks that are number 1. Okay.
And also I would focus on GMB a bit more, because like a lot of the calls you get are from GMBs. GMBs are not easy to get. I know, but if you get those, you don't need backlinks. You need citations, which is you can buy citations from any place.
Trivia question for Sean. Sean, where are you getting your GMB address?
My client.
Yeah. For those that are new, anyone that it's like, where do I get my GMB address? GMB. Guess what the answer is? Go sell a freaking deal and tell them that you're not doing the deal unless they give you an Addy, baby. Not the Adderall, address.
You asked for it once they.
That pool fencing guy that I had, so he gave me the GMB and I was actually supplementing with ads just to make sure that I could deliver on the first month, and then ended up giving him like 30 leads on the first month. But as soon as I got the GMB and it just got put up, it was like I just turned off the ads because the leads just came in. It's like, so even within 2-3 weeks, you can turn off the ads and you're already saving like extra 300 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah. That's like, there's entire businesses around GMB, and we have a solution for you, friends. Go sell a deal up front and just make the business owner give you the address. But no, just say, hey, like if Sean's my customer, hey, Sean, there's a catch. And Sean says, oh, what is it? Just kidding, man. But you know that section at the top, the Google local section, the Google My Business? I want to get you in there as well. Since we're on a flat fee, I'll get you more leads. So I need an address that's in Rochester, New York. Okay. And the only exception is it can't be the same one you use for your business. Okay. So you have a friend, a family member, another colleague with a business. I need to send one of these postcards, and I have one on my desk. I'm going to send a postcard to you. There's a 5-digit code in it. I need you to send it to me. Okay. I need that because it just means more leads. Do you have one at the top of your mind right now? Oh, yeah. My employee, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. What's their address and what's their name? Problem solved. You just saved yourself $600 paying for some ghetto ass service on some site that isn't going to work. Okay. Easy. Quit overcomplicating, guys. The game is sales. The game is getting as many deals as possible. The game is mastering a process that works. I don't care if you don't want to use my process. That's fine. Go find one that works and go and perfect it. Choose one service, one business, one process, and go ride that thing all the way to the freaking bank. As I said in the beginning, for those that have just joined, Sean, my man, Sean Bong is on here right now. He is going to be taking over interviews. I will be dropping in from time to time. But he's going to be doing those. I think we decided we're going to be trying to do those on Tuesdays and on either Thursday or Friday. So watch for those. We'll try and do teaser posts, but we have a bunch of case studies, a bunch of interviews that are backlogged that we need to get to. And we are going to be bringing those to you a couple a week from here on out. Okay. So anyway, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Sean, appreciate it. Ramez. We'll talk soon.